1 minute to the top of the hour, the 20th day of May, the year being 2024. Welcome to the broadcast. We have a lot in line for you, including an update on the President of Iran, that is Raisi. We have an update that for you. But first, let us have the highlights. President Ruto mourns Raisi as a fearless leader. Junior secondary school teachers in Kisii town protest, demanding government compliance with court ruling.
We want them to obey the court ruling. Yes. And that's why we're here. We'll be in the streets today, we'll be here tomorrow, we'll be here the other day. And Maina Njenga arraigned for the trial where he faces charges of being the leader of the Mungiki sect. Once again, welcome to the broadcast. This is TV47 News Now. My name is Moige William. Let us keep you informed with the latest. Starting off, Iran will observe 5 days of mourning of the death of the country's president, Ibrahim Raisi. This as announced by their supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Raisi was killed in a helicopter crash Sunday in the northwestern region of Iran, along with Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian, among other officials. This as confirmed by the Iran state media. The death of the President Rais comes 10 months after his first tour to Africa, visiting Kenya, where he was hosted by President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi. President Ruto is among a host of leaders who have shared their condolence message. Ruto stating President Raisi was a fearless leader and a dedicated public servant who, with a long and distinguished career in public service, adding Kenya and the Republic of Iran share cordial relations, signified by the fact that in Raisi's ever trip to African continent as president, Raisi chose Kenya as his first destination.
Your distinguished delegation, Honorable Minister, I am truly delighted and I'm privileged to have this opportunity of welcoming you and your delegation to Kenya. No. It's my pleasure. It is my pleasure, Your Excellency.
رابطه ما با شما فقط رابطه دیپلماسی معمولی نیست، یک رابطه قلبی و دلی هست.
All right, it is a story that we are closely keeping tabs with, and more details in our subsequent bulletins at 7 and 9 p.m. Now let us shift gears to matters justice, where a family in Kirinyaga is pleading for justice after their 19-year-old son was allegedly shot and killed by a police officer at the Kiandai shopping center in Gishogu. Witness report that the 19-year-old was playing pool with other youths on Saturday evening when our police officers arrived at the scene. Angry family members led by the deceased aunt, that is Cicely Wangu, and villagers from Kiandai stormed the Kianyaga police station demanding answers as to why their son was killed. Jen Modoni, the grandmother of the deceased, wailed uncontrollably after viewing her grandson's body. She mentioned that she had been caring for him since his mother's death in the year 2008.
Kapigia bradhangu mkubwa, ndo alishika simu akaniambia bradhangu amegongwa, niende nimpeleke hospitali. Mimi nilitembea hadi kwenye alikuwa. Kufika hapo nipata amelazwa tu kwa barabara.
Nataka tu justice. Hakuna kitu ingine, kwa sababu mtu sio mnyama na hakuna kitu ya mtu ameiba na alikuwa tu anajitafutia. Tungetaka tu serikali, kama justice inaweza patikana, tunaweza furahia.
And we would want a public inquest into this. We have people, eyewitnesses, and we know there were attempts to even remove the bullet from the chest so that they can cover up.
I'm asking watu ya boda boda na watu ya soko. Mulasemanga kwa mwingine kumegongwa, kwako kutaifikiwa, kwako kumefikiwa. Huyu kijana si dynasty, huyu kijana si billionaire, amepatwa akililia haki yake na mete akijenga soko yake.
Elsewhere, in Kilifi County, frustration mounts as the national government faces renewed criticism of a delayed disbursement of funds. Governor Gideon Mung'aro, on his part, states that he is holding the national government responsible for what he terms as impeding county government operations. During the unveiling of Kilifi's county's strategic plan 2024 to the year 2028, Mung'aro singled out the control of budget for withholding funds in the treasury, only to shift blame onto county administrations for financial mismanagement. This recurring pattern, spanning to 2 years, prompted Mung'aro to urge the county assembly to advocate for expedited fund allocation. Echoing Mung'aro's sentiment, County Assembly Speaker Teddy Mwambire decried the detrimental impact of delayed funds on devolution, accusing the national government of undermining local governance.
The person who is delaying us to even assess our money is the control of budget. So become a trend of government to give us money 1 week before the year closes. So if we don't plan ourselves properly, mtasikia watu wakifanya turudisha pesa. Ina hatuwezi kurudisha pesa, hatuna. Kama pesa haziko, zikikuja siku mbili kabla tufunge bunge na mwaka, tutafanya nini? So we need to all make noise about it because it's for the interest of us and Kilifi people, including ourselves.
Nimegundua kwamba mbali na kwamba kuna wenzetu ambao waliwahi kuwa madiwani sasa wako kule bungeni. Ingawaje kuna wenzetu ambao walikuwa wakifanya kazi na magatuzi sasa wako kule bunge la kitaifa. Bado hawaamini ugatuzi. Na ndio sababu ikifika kule lazima ati wanyanyue zile pesa waregeshe chini.
I want to make it very clear the position of the people of Kilifi, that we do not agree at all in the increase of finances in that bill. And therefore ikifika ndani ya Senate, mimi nitapiga no.
The ruling party, that is the UDA member of parliament drawn from Rift Valley, have called on Mount Kenya leaders to stop what they termed as ethnic balkanization, as this could lead to discord in the country. Speaking in Mushukwo village in Baringo North during a fundraiser, Eldama Ravine member of parliament Musa Sirma emphasized that the country is governed by a constitution which mandates the president and deputy president to work together for 5 years. The leaders urged those against young leadership to reconsider their stance, highlighting the importance of current generation of leaders in shaping the future generation.
Ingia kanisa. Hakuna wakati rais wa Kenya ametuma sisi wabunge ya Rift Valley ya Wakalenjin twende tufuruge siasa ya Central Kenya. No time. William Ruto is a uniting factor for the people of Kenya. Na ilionekana kwa siasa na kura ya 2022 kwa sababu Wakenya wote walishikana na kumpigia kura. So there is no time the president has sent members of parliament, whether youthful or old, to Central Kenya to destabilize political landscape for our people in Mount Kenya who supported William Ruto to the last man.
Tuna learn kutoka kwa Rais William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua na tunaiga ile example wamefanya. We know as young leaders we must move across this country, tutembee tusaidie rais na naibu ya rais kujenga taifa la Kenya. Na kutembea kwetu isipe wazee wasiwasi. Sababu unajua kama vijana sisi tuko leo, lakini uongozi wetu tunajipanga kule miaka 30, 50, 60 tukihakikisha kwamba Kenya inabaki kama umoja na Kenya inabaki na direction moja.
Wale ambao wamekutana siku ya leo, tufanye heshima, tuweke nchi yetu pamoja. Na mimi nikiwa elder, I am ready kuaddress maneno na kukutanisha kama kuna shida. Lazima tukae chini kama wazee. I have been in parliament long enough to be an elder.
We will not support any ethnic mobilization in Kenya. Uchaguzi wa 2022 ilituletea faida na uchaguzi wa 2002 wananchi wa Kenya wote walipiga kura kwa maoni yao.
All right, now let us shift gears from the world of politics to the classroom, where junior secondary school teachers are once again demonstrating in the streets of Kisii town as they push the government to meet their demands. Led by Joseph Abincham, the Kupet Kisii branch secretary, the teachers are demanding that the government comply with the court ruling and confirm them under permanent and pensionable terms. The agitated teachers, including JSS teachers from all public schools in Kisii County, have also called on the Kenya National Union of Teachers National Secretary to support their demand for PNP employment rather than merely seeking what they termed as better contract terms from the government. The teachers have vowed not to return to the schools until their demands are met. A spot check at various public schools in Kisii County revealed that learning is continuing, albeit at a slower pace.
Without having partial that this one has served 2 years, this one has served 1 year, all of them this year, if the government is serious and want this education and CPC to go on, we want them to obey the court ruling. Yes. And that's why we're here. We'll be in the streets today, we'll be here tomorrow, we'll be here the other day, until the cries of these JSS teachers is heard.
We are on the streets, hatuko darasani. The data people are receiving at the Hochewise wanatuma tuko present darasani ni uongo. Watoto shuleni hawafunzwi, walimu wako barabarani. Information number 2 to our esteemed elder, Nat Secretary OU. We love your support, but be very clear. Have facts when you are going to speak there. We want us to be employed on permanent and pensionable. Hayo mambo yako ya kusema ati tupewe contract nzuri, hapana. Hayo mambo yako mengine ya kusema ati sisi mkakati yuko wa kuemploy walimu 26,000, we can't listen to that. Hayo mambo ya kusema ati walimu warudi darasani hadi Januari, haturudi darasani. Kitu ambacho kinatoa darasani ni barua ya PNP. Hiyo ndio itatoa darasani, be it now, be it tomorrow. Tukipewa tunaingia, but we are not going minus that paper. Information number 3, MPs should join us. Ama tunafikiria nyinyi ndio watu mnaenda kupewa barua zetu, mnakuja kutuuzia hapa vijijini. Join us in the streets, document us in the bill. Hakikisha kuwa walimu 46,000 wote wanaingia ndani. Hayo mambo ya division hatutaki kusikiza. You can't divide people. We are not children of a lesser God. Internship is illegal. We have to be confirmed into permanent and pensionable. Mogul's power.
Sina ni Joseph Mangera, mwalimu wa JSS. Ningependa kusema kwamba serikali inasema haina pesa. Serikali iko na pesa nyingi ambayo inasema inataka kufanyia ukarabati residence za rais. Rais analala status moja. Mbona analinovate status zote Kenya? Pesa hizo walimu waachiliwe. Mogul's power.
Well, that is the situation in Kisii County. Now, the proposed Finance Bill 2024-2025 could significantly inflate the cost of living for Kenyans, one financial analyst from the international accountancy firm Deloitte. They highlight several contentious clauses such as the motor vehicle tax, excise duty on various consumable goods, and digital tax, which may deepen economic disparities, pushing many Kenyans into poverty. Additionally, the government's insistence on premium wage taxes from a predominantly informal border economy may further strain, according to economists. Take a look.
So you know that, for example, in Kenya, and sometimes we are called the border economy. Why is that the case? Because we've created a lot of informal jobs or a lot of low-paying jobs, as opposed to creating quality jobs or quality businesses, for that matter, because businesses also give you income. So as long as we have that mismatch where the bulk of our taxpayers at the bottom of the pyramid, then we cannot fix that tax to GDP ratio in the way that it's supposed to be.
One issue that has been of discussion is the percentage of tax to global to GDP. This is almost a key focus area for the government and maybe speaks to the reason why we have a lot of changes and a lot of introduction of tax. The question that begs is whether is it a viable move under the current economic situation that we have in Kenya?
Which then means that we find ourselves in a very interesting situation because then household debt is increasing. Talking to bankers right now, they're starting to feel pressure on that, personal debt portfolio because interest rates have been increasing, and which then means that your cost of, financing whatever debt you have has gone up. And so you have less to do other things with your income. So it means even if you had a mortgage or whatever personal loan you had, you have pressure to repay that. And then, on the other side, your income is not growing at the same rate. So that creates some, form of pressure on you as a household.
All right, it is 15 minutes past 4 p.m. East African time. Let us take a short commercial break, but we'll be right back with more news after this break.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that, so when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO, and the rest of.
At what point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it TV47. This is TV47 News Now. Now to more news, shall we? Tragedy struck a Lutheran church in Isebania town, Migori County, as fire race dammed the pastor's house in the early morning inferno. According to the church pastor, he believes the fire was caused by an electrical fault, but nobody was injured in the incident as all members of his family were already awake and outside. The pastor called on well-wishers to come and offer donations as their whole belongings inside the house were burnt beyond repair as they only managed to salvage a few items. The incident is now under investigations by the relevant authority. All right, we are still keeping tabs on that particular story. More details in our subsequent bulletin. Now, let us move on to another story from a different part of the country. Shall we move to the mining sector within the country? All right. Still on that, before even we go to the mining story, just a reminder to our viewer that the Iran Supreme Leader has declared a 5-day mourning as this follows to the death of their president, that is Ebrahim Raisi, who was involved in a helicopter crash Sunday. Now, Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, Salim Mvurya, has revoked licenses for 54 mining companies in Turkana County. Speaking in Turkana, Mvurya said that the aim of that action is to bring reforms to the mining sector in the country and harness the potential of resources in Turkana. He also issued out a boat worth 50 million to provide security around the lake. Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai praised the step by the government to bring reforms in the mining sector.
I'm glad that we've agreed we'll work closely with the county government, even on matters licensing. We've already gazetted and trained the Artisanal Mining Committee for Turkana, which will be giving permits for small-scale mining activities, including quarrying. Before we share 20%, it must have been paid by the investor. So we have agreed that we need to close ranks so that we can deal with anybody who is doing illegal mining activities, so that we can attract revenue as required.
It is now the right time. We get new companies that will be licensed by the national government and also the local artisans. Mining artisans in Turkana County will also be licensed so that the activities of doing illegal mining is brought to an end. And that, I think by having that security board, I think enough patrols will be done actually to ensure or to deter those with bad intent of really interfering with the fishing processes by our people who depend on this particular lake.
All right, now to a story that we are also closely following on, as President William Ruto is set to jet in Atlanta, Georgia, the United States of America. Here is the itinerary of his visit to the USA as George Maringa reports.
Monday, 20th May 2024. Cometh the hour, cometh the man, and history is written as under the wonderful spring weather, Kenya's President William Ruto sets his foot in Atlanta, Georgia. Ruto's first step is the Carter Presidential Center, which is comprised of the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum.
President Moige visited the White House at the invitation of President Carter in 1980. So some of the documents that President Ruto will be viewing are the welcoming remarks that President Carter made when Ruto arrived in Washington.
Here, Kenya's 5th president will be taken down memory lane of the 39th president of the United States. On his first stop, Ruto is seeking to emphasize shared commitments to governance and anti-corruption by the two countries. Located on Louis Freedom Parkway, just 2 miles from downtown Atlanta, the Carter Presidential Center is a shared building adjacent to the Jimmy Carter Library and Museum. The Carter Center has helped to improve the lives of people in more than 80 countries by resolving conflicts, advancing democracy and human rights, preventing diseases, and improving mental health care. Jimmy Carter's rise to the presidency was one of the most remarkable ascents in American political history. He was all but unknown to the public through much of 1975. Less than a year later, he was his party's candidate as head of state. Security has been beefed up for the Kenyan delegation, even as President William Ruto seeks to strengthen the main agenda for his trip over the Atlantic Ocean. President William Ruto chose the Jimmy Carter Presidential Center to begin his first state visit to the United States. And after touring this historic and iconic building, he will be taking crucial notes even as he embarks on his first term of presidency. George Maringa for TV47 at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Museum in Atlanta, United States.
And President William Ruto is set to arrive in the United States of America later today to begin a 3-day state visit at the invitation of President Joe Biden. State House officials say the plane carrying the president and his entourage is expected to touch down at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport at 10:30 a.m. That is American time. That is approximately 5:30 p.m. Kenyan time. Our reporter George Maringa is on standby, and let's listen in.
A very good morning
to you from Atlanta, Georgia on this 20th day of May 2024. My name is George Maringa from TV47. Today, President William Ruto begins his 4-day